So there is a lot of talk about a recession in the year 2020. Today I will give you 4 tips that you can start to apply now in case of a recession. So before we go into the 4 tips in order to prepare for a recession in the year 2020, let's first talk about what a recession is. A recession is a general decline in economic activity or in the economy. It is a widespread drop in spending and contraction in the GDP for 2 straight quarters, which is 6 months or longer. Usually, a recession does not last longer than a year. However, when a recession is nearing, business sales and revenue tend to drop and businesses stop expanding. The awesome thing is, no one wants to experience a recession. However, a recession is much milder than a depression. So, tip number 1, make sure that you are prepared. If you fear that a recession is nearing in the year 2020, make sure to have your ducks in a row. Sit down with your family and have a family discussion about the things that will be changing in case of a recession. And one of the most important things that any of us can do, regardless of a recession or just in order to be prepared for things that may come that are unexpected, is to have an emergency fund, guys. I will not go in depth in this video because I talked about this in my last video, and I will leave a link in the description so you can check that video out. However, having an emergency fund during a recession, it protects you from the effects of a job lost or cut in your hours or not being able to receive raises or bonuses. And also it protects you from having to liquidate your investments. So if there is a recession, you don't want to have to sell all of your investments, your stocks, your bonds, things like that in order to have on-hand cash. How you protect yourself from that is by having an emergency fund. Now, a rule of thumb during a recession in reference to your emergency fund is if you're a single income household, you want to have at least 6 months of expenses. If you are a 2 income household, you want to have at least 3 to 4 months of expenses. And if you are self-employed, you want to have at least 1 year of expenses in your emergency fund. So tip number 2 is lower your fixed living cost. What this means is do not spend money on things that are not a necessity. Also, what you want to do is our monthly living expenses, the ones that we must pay every single month, these tend to eat up a percentage of our income, and usually the largest percentage of our income. So look for ways to cut back on things. Pay down debt and use that money that you're saving from that debt and that interest that you are paying on that debt to maybe invest in low cost equities or low cost stocks. Or you can put that additional money in a high interest savings account where it can begin to compound interest, which is interest that is being paid to you versus you paying interest. Don't eat out. Cook at home. Cut back on everything you can in every way that you can. Cut spending on other things such as leisure or entertainment. Save money on gas by carpooling, bike riding, or walking when can. If you're single or maybe you are in a relationship where it's just you and your spouse, if it's comfortable and maintainable for you, get a roommate, which will allow you to cut back on your monthly rental or maybe even your mortgage costs. Also, instead of going on your annual or semi-annual vacations, try going on a staycation as a way to cut back on your expenses and save money, but still be able to do the things that you normally do and the things that you enjoy that give you peace of mind. Also, make sure that you have a budget and that you stick to it. This will definitely help you in your efforts to lower your fixed living costs and just to lower your overall expenses and your spending as well. And these tips will also allow you to learn to live off less than you are making and to save and keep more of your income if there were to be a recession. Tip number 3 is have multiple streams of income. As I said in the earlier tip, there's sometimes during a recession that people lose their job or have their hours cut, or they're just not making the money at their current job that they used to before that recession started. So make sure that you're keeping your resume up to date. If you're able to, get a part-time job. Also, you could work online or start an online business, as well as have some type of side hustle or ways to create passive income. That could be anything from dividend investing, or maybe if you have a YouTube channel, or even selling an online program or writing an ebook. Those are all things that will help you to create passive income. Now, some of the recession-proof jobs are the medical field, which is senior care, nursing, doctors, or even maybe a therapist, a physical therapist. Also, the mental health industry, psychologists or mental health therapists. And a lot of times during a recession, there are a lot of divorces. So people need therapy in order to get through tough economies such as a recession. Another good industry to work in during a recession is the energy industry. Engineers and technicians are very much needed during a recession, as we're looking for ways to create renewable energy and other sources of energy. So those are also jobs that are safe during a recession. Another profession is law enforcement. The internet professions such as designers or CEO experts or programmers, social media marketers, these are all good professions during a recession. Then you have college professors, pharmacists, pharmacist techs, IT staffs, and any professional that knows how to conduct business overseas, because during tough economic times, a lot of businesses like to outsource their business to international areas or overseas so that they can cut back on their cost. And tip number 4 is diversify your investments. And what I mean by this is a lot of times during a recession, our portfolios will plummet. And if we don't have a wide range of stocks in broad sectors and with bonds and index and ETFs and other mutual funds, then you may lose a lot and you may not be able to take the mental stress or the mental toll of seeing your portfolio cut in half. So in order to avoid that, you want to make sure that you diversify your investments. You want to make sure that you offset these losses by having different types of stocks in different sectors, and you want to make sure that you own a percentage of your portfolio in bonds, mutual funds, or ETFs or index funds. It's so important, guys, that we go ahead now, if we are assuming that there's going to be a recession, or if we want to plan for this recession, by going ahead and starting now if you have not already done so, and that is by diversifying your portfolios. So if you enjoy content like this or other content on investing, how to become the best version of yourself, and how to reach financial independence, please subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a like. And also, guys, in the comments section, let me know what it is that you're doing in order to prepare in case of a 2020 recession.